Dr. Stephen Schimpf is the former head of infectious diseases, former director, Cancer Center, professor of medicine, and former CEO, University of Maryland Medical Center.
Hello everyone, I'm Steve Schimpf, and this is the first of a series that I'm calling Coping with COVID. So we can talk about how the virus is spread, what we can do to prevent it, and then some other issues that are important related to sheltering in place, some issues that come up as a result of that. So we'll discuss all those in a series of relatively brief programs over the coming days and weeks. So for now, I do need to remind you that what I'm giving out is advice, not advice, it's information. It's not medical information, it's health information. For medical advice, please see your own healthcare provider. So, what do we know about this virus? Quite a bit now, as we're into these various months so far. And we know that there are just a few key steps to preventing disease. And they are wearing a mask, social distancing, washing our hands, avoiding crowded spaces, avoiding spaces with limited air circulation. We're out here now, loads of air circulation, that's terrific. But you get into an elevator, get into a packed room, that's a different story. Come back to that in a minute. So it gets to the point of how is the coronavirus spread? Well, it's spread by coughing, by sneezing, and of course that's with a lot of force. And it puts out droplets. But it also is spread by singing, by speech, and this is what wasn't realized until fairly recently, just by breathing. An infected person lets out a lot of virus just as they're breathing. That's a surprise, and it's something we really need to pay attention to. Of course, it can get onto a surface. You know, if you cough or sneeze, those droplets fall down, and if I touch that surface, now I have it on my hands, now I have it on my face. That's where the touch problem comes in, and that's why hand washing is so important. Here's what's new. It's the asymptomatic person, the person who has no idea they have infection. That can be someone who's going to have symptoms in a couple days, or they're just never going to have symptoms. And these represent the great majority of people. But anyway, if you're infected, don't have symptoms, you can still pass it out by breathing, by singing, by speech. And that's really key. This breathing out produces an aerosol, very fine particles. Now what's that? Why is that different than a sneeze or a cough? Those things put out a droplet. You know, if you put your hand up in front of a cough, you feel those droplets on your hand. And they can go a long distance. Fortunately, they'll fall down. But the aerosol is very fine, and we can breathe that into our lungs. The droplet will probably be stopped in our nose. But the small aerosol goes right down into our lungs, and we know that's where the worst of the infection is, down in our lungs. So, start with why to wear a mask. I guess it should follow from what I just said. If I'm infected, if I wear a mask, that prevents me from talking, breathing out onto you. If I'm the other end of it, you're infected, breathing toward me, that mask helps protect me. So those are it's kind of basic physics, if you will. This is what we have to do and why. So, masks, very, very important. We've got to wear them. We've got to wear them when we leave our homes and wherever we might be going. We need to wear them in our homes if we have someone in. We got to have that mask on, and they have to have a mask on. Doesn't matter if it's your friend, your relative, your favorite person, they got to wear a mask when they come in your home. You got to wear a mask because you don't know if maybe they're infected, and they don't know if maybe you're infected. So it's really important. So here's a little picture of our Surgeon General with his arms out wearing a mask. You remember that for a while, people didn't wear masks. In fact, healthcare professionals didn't encourage that. But now they do, and we'll get back to that a little later. But now I just want to make the point again. If I'm the one who's infected, and I'm either coughing or sneezing or just breathing, out comes the virus. It comes out toward you, so you want a mask on to prevent it, but actually it's most important that I have it on. Probably 70% of the protection is because I have it on, preventing my viruses to come out. On the other hand, the other 30% is because you have it on. So both are very important. The next thing is social distancing. We know you've heard it many times, but it's 6 feet. Now, this is 3 feet, and I kind of thought that just, an arm's length away would be half of it. Your arm, my arm, but that's really not enough. I got a pretty long arm, but it's not enough. So more than 2 of these. This table down here is only about 7 feet. I'm sorry, only about 5 feet. That's not enough. But these 2 chairs, they are 6 feet apart. So if I have a visitor over and I sit here and the visitor sits here, that's sufficient. But remember, keep the mask on. Keep the mask on. Yes, we're outside. That makes it much safer, but not safe enough. Keep the mask on. So that's the key of social distancing, is that 6 feet. Now, if there's a group of you, each of you have to be 6 feet from each other. And some people will say, well, I can't speak loud enough. I can't speak through the mask. Sorry, you gotta be 6 feet apart. Actually, more than 6 feet would be good. But 6 feet's a pretty good rule of thumb, and especially if you're outside, because the air is circulating. So that works pretty well. Now the next thing is avoid crowded spaces. Here's a picture of an elevator with a whole bunch of people, and only a few of them have a mask on. Now, if one of those people without a mask is infected, they got everybody. You've probably heard the story of the choir. There were, I think it was something like 83 people in the choir. And they got together for their practice in a fairly confined space. They practiced for 2.5 hours. Turns out that one of the choir members had sort of a mild cold. He didn't think it was much, certainly enough that he came to choir practice. He had coronavirus infection. Of the 83, I think it was something like 71 became infected, and of those, 3 ended up in the hospital. And I think some of them died as well. There was a strategy meeting of a major pharmaceutical company, Biogen, held in Boston. They brought in their senior people from around the world. Well, it turned out one of them came from a country where she was exposed to the virus. She didn't know it, she felt fine. But a whole bunch of people that, what happens in a meeting like that, everybody's up there shaking hands and, having meals together and so on, sitting close to each other. Well, a whole bunch of people from that Biogen meeting, then they went out and they infected a whole bunch of other people. So these are what we call super spreader events, and they're particularly important. In fact, that may be the way a lot of this virus gets spread, and these so-called super spreader events. Anyway, but just you and me right now, we need to wear our mask, we need to social distance, we need to stay out of elevators that are crowded, and or a space where there's not much air circulation again, a small room. Again, an elevator is a good example of that. So, should talk about hand hygiene. Everybody knows that. Wash your hands, soap and water, 20 seconds. What most people don't do, if you think about it, you do this. But what you need to do is get your fingertips. That's what usually is into stuff. Use your fingertips. Get down in here and do it for 20 seconds. That's enough to really take care of everything. So do that. Key thing is, remember, we're a community. We have to look out for each other. If we look out for each other, not just for ourselves, we'll do the things I just said. I'm just going to say it again to be boring, but it's wear a mask, social distance, wash your hands, avoid crowded, low air circulation spaces. If we do that, we can stop the spread of this virus. We won't have any more cases. But it's essential that we all do it. Anyway, thanks for listening. I appreciate it. Next time we'll get a little bit more about how the virus is actually transmitted.
Dr. Stephen Schimpf is the former head of infectious diseases, former director, Cancer Center, professor of medicine, and former CEO, University of Maryland Medical Center.